How can I not check out a movie called Fraternity Massacre at Hell Island? Now, depending on whether you trust IMDb or Amazon Prime Video, this movie either came out in 2007 or 2010, or maybe it was re-released. This movie starts out with a flashback in 1984 where 4 actors are being a jerk to an older gypsy woman, and she puts a curse on them and they end up dead. The movie comes to the present day, and upset because there's that filter again that you all know that I hate, and there's a sequence inside of an insane asylum. Fortunately, the filter is only used for that sequence and not for the duration of the movie. If it was used for the whole duration of the movie, I would have had a solid shit fit. We meet the frat brothers. One pair is a gay couple and another pair is a straight couple. I think that's cool that they included both. One of them looks 30 years old, but that is just the norm in a lot of horror movies, unfortunately. The girlfriend wants to get her boyfriend away from the fraternity because she's jealous of the amount of time that he spends with the fraternity. I don't know why they included this because it never comes back up in the story. It's just there to be there. There's also a dean of students who acts very Norman Bates-y. If you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. Now, it seems that in that flashback in 1984, the actors that were killed via being poisoned. And the gentleman that poisoned them was put in a insane asylum, and of course, he escapes. And you know what happens next. I went in blind on this one. I didn't see a trailer for it, so I had no idea what to expect. The kills in this movie were really mediocre. It was just people getting stabbed over and over again. One person got hit with an axe, but still yawn. Can we get some creativity? The actors were really good at delivering their lines. I especially like the 2 characters that played the rich kids, and they had this accent that was like Thurston Powell III, or is it Thurston Howell III? Don't remember, but you know the character I'm talking about in Gilligan's Island, the one that talks with a stiff upper lip. They had some really great locations. I loved the synth soundtrack, and they actually had a pretty cool idea for the story, but for a horror comedy, a lot of the jokes didn't land. This really had the potential to be a so bad it's good type of slasher movie like Gutterballs, but it really missed the mark. There's also a whole side story about the ghosts of the murdered actors from 1984. I don't think they were necessary at all. They were just really extra, and it just seemed too much. In order for this to be the type of slasher movie it wanted to be, it needed more gore. It needed more gore and more creative kills. This is written and directed by Mark Jones, and according to his IMDb page, this is his directorial debut. I think there's a lot of talent there, and I'm looking forward to see more of his projects because I feel like this was a really good start for a first-time director. I give this a 5.5 out of 10 for enjoyment. I know you're thinking, oh, she's a tough grader, and you're right. Next up, I'm gonna check out Clowntown, and I'll be back in a moment to let you know what I thought. This movie starts off at the Strode residence, and if you're going to open a movie with a Halloween Easter egg, you better come correct. You're already setting the bar a little bit high for yourself. We have yet another babysitter watching 2 kids, and as I mentioned earlier during this clownathon, I'm tired of that trope. And why are they always female, and why is it always a babysitter and never an older sibling? My older brother is 5 years older than me and 10 years older than my middle sister, and he had to babysit us all the time. In retrospect, I kind of feel sorry for him always having to stay home and babysit his 2 little sisters that had to suck at least sometimes during high school. Anyway, you can make the babysitter male sometimes. You can still have the same Howard trope. Have him invite his girlfriend over without telling anyone, and his friends over, drink beer, all the normal stuff that you have the female babysitters do. I don't see why you can't have a male babysitter do, or older brother. When you think about it, that's what made Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street so good. Whether the characters were male or female, anyone could get it, everyone's in danger. That said, this movie starts in early with the nudity. 3 minutes in, and you're already seeing the babysitter's tatas when she's changing her clothes. The babysitter gets got, the kill is lackluster, and then it cuts to the opening sequence, I guess, or the title sequence with clowns getting ready, putting on their makeup and such. Then it cuts to our main protagonist, which is a group of kids that will eventually get stuck in Clowntown and get stalked and killed. I'm looking at this movie like it has a pretty decent budget. They're giving us aerial shots and everything, and then I thought, well, that could be done with a drone, but the budget on this still looks like it's pretty decent. And I appreciate the effort of having those overhead shots. There was a false scare with that loud bong cue that I hate. I mean, you know, if you've watched my videos, how much that annoys me. This group is only 4 deep, so I'm afraid that this movie is going to really stretch things out because there aren't enough people to kill. And then right after I was having that thought, 2 more guys show up. They decide to take a shortcut through the town, and so now there's 6 people. It doesn't keep things from dragging on because they still do drag things out. The killer clown people have the personality of department store mannequins. and it doesn't help this film at all. Plus, this movie is weak sauce for cutting away from all the kills. Stop making slasher movies with no slashing. This is boring, and I don't want 90 minutes of running and hiding and running and hiding and not enough killing. Halfway through this, I'm thinking this is a good candidate for getting turned the fuck off. Life is too short. For people who started this film with a shout out to Halloween, it seems like they never even watched the movie Halloween. Granted, Halloween is one of the few slasher movies that does not have a lot of gore, but it is the exception to the rule. And the reason why it's the exception to the rule is because what it didn't have in gore, it made up for in suspense and fright. It was a very scary movie. It also had one of the best musical scores of all time. A slasher movie can only get away with not having gore if it has suspense and fright. If you're not going to scare me, entertain me at least with people getting their wigs pushed back in exciting and creative ways. This did neither. I'm actually annoyed that this project got so much financing only to punk out on the actual horror. You could tell they had money to shoot on location, had excellent camera, equipment, lighting, staffing to do musical composition, editing, but they forgot two very important things: a good writer and some gore effects. I will say that the lighting people did an excellent job. They made some interesting choices that actually reminded me of parts of Evil Dead, Creepshow, Nightmare on Elm Street. I felt like the lighting people were very good at their craft. Their artistry showed. But it didn't keep me from turning this shit off. I had to shut it off when it took the direct route to Stupidville. All right, listen to this. The three survivors find their way back to a truck. They get in the truck, it has gas, it runs. They start it up and they are able to escape. Do they escape? No. They drive for a little ways and then the driver stops to see who's shambling down the road. Not only does he stop, he stops about 20 feet away from the person, then walks away from the truck, leaves the door wide open, and I'm like, this is insulting to my intelligence. Now, you know, since he stopped the car and went to go investigate, that it left the door wide open for the clown to attack, and that's when I shut it off, because I was just like, this is just too stupid even for me. I can make it through a lot of stupid stuff, but I don't like it when a film insults my intelligence, and I just feel like, do better. I don't care how this movie ended because I already wasted 1 hour of my life, and I feel like Maxine Waters, I want to reclaim my time. I give this a 2 out of 10 for enjoyment, and I'm only giving that 2 for the crew. The people who did the camera work, the lighting, the sound, the editing. You guys did your job, and I have nothing against you because you did a good job given what you were given to work with. Hopefully you'll find better projects to work on that are not directed by trust fund babies who don't respect their audience. Honestly, I don't know if the director's a trust fund baby or some other product of nepotism, or just a director that doesn't like horror movies but needed a paycheck. Maybe this is by a studio that just wanted to capitalize off of the popularity of horror movies but doesn't really give a damn about the genre. What else would a movie get so much financing but otherwise be completely nutless? I usually say don't take my word for it, but I'm pretty confident in my word on this one. If you saw this and you liked it, let me know in the comments why you liked it, because I don't understand. Anyways, just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. Watch for yourself. Let me know what you thought of it.